Hello players, come on in, take a seat, on a chair, on a lap. It's all good. I'm your tech jester, Buzz Stringer, and this is the Tech Jester's Christmas Day message. It's a time of reflection for all of the tech news that has shaped our year. This year. This video is a bit different from the normal tech news videos. You won't learn much with this one. Oh, well, I guess it's exactly the same then. So if you don't like this one, that's okay. It's just this one, I promise. Until next year. Today is Christmas Day, a time for happiness and, most importantly, laughter. So remove your pants, grab a drink, because that definitely makes this show better, and make sure your kids can't hear what you're watching. Okay, just before we begin, because I know not everybody makes it to the end, and that's cool, sometimes I don't. But I want to say thank you for an awesome year. You guys and girls have made this channel what it is, so we can definitely share some of the blame there. But over 600 of you is crazy. And I do read every single comment, so let them flow. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you sexy people, and be excellent to each other. Now let's rip off tech faster than my pants. Marques Brownlee accidentally filmed himself speeding this year, which is not the first time a YouTuber has recorded a crime. Logan Paul once found a body that was more alive than his personality. Logan Paul also promoted Lunchly during his wife's labour this year, and seeing Logan Paul's face is like its own promotion for Durex. Boeing was facing 10 more whistleblowers after 2 died under mysterious circumstances. Of course, Boeing insists that there is no correlation between whistleblowing and sudden death, just like there's no correlation between their planes and abrupt landings. At least, but the Boeing brand has synergy. They can't keep their planes in the air or their employees alive. Russia fined Google $20 dectillion. Apparently the Kremlin thinks that it can bankrupt Google with a penalty that's bigger than the entire global economy. Meanwhile, they still can't afford tires for their tanks or that Starlink subscription. Speaking of tires, Tesla Cybertruck owners were shocked that their tires were barely lasting 6,000 miles, while the rest of us are surprised that the cars lasted 6,000 miles. They're so bad. It's like if Hot Wheels made cars, that's what you would get. Reddit is selling user content to OpenAI for $60 million a year. So apparently all of the posts on Reddit, everything from am I the arsehole to legal advice, are being sold to train AI, which raises the question, if AI becomes self-aware, will it start every conversation with, look, I know I got downvoted, but... Or worse, maybe the AI picks up the classic Reddit habit of calling everyone OP and telling them that they're either a legend or a piece of human garbage. 1 minute it'll be analysing data and the next minute it'll be telling you to touch grass. If we're not careful, we'll end up with the world's first digital incel. I'm kidding, these are jokes. Again, allegedly. I love Reddit. Allegedly. It was reported that major health insurance companies took down their leadership pages after the murder of the United Healthcare CEO. Apparently these companies will do anything to avoid being held accountable, whether that's skyrocketing premiums or, homicide. It's the first time we've seen them move this fast without a copay. The leadership pages came down faster than my pants on a Friday night, or any night, really, which makes sense because if you're in the health insurance industry, you probably don't want people knowing exactly where to aim their grievances. In other words, they finally got a taste of what it's like to be uninsured. Well, there's a little bit more about this. New York State officials are considering a special hotline for CEOs to report threats after the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot, which is crazy because the only threat most CEOs face is a paternity test or union forming. There's no hotline for minimum wage workers who can't pay rent, but if your private jet pilot calls out sick, that's a crisis. Because God forbid Mark Zuckerberg should stand in line at the police station with a bunch of regular people. But yeah, well, it's nice to see government finally stepping up to protect the real victims of society, the ultra wealthy. Next, they'll be installing panic buttons for them in every Gucci store. I guess the next step is a 24-hour therapy line for CEOs who feel emotionally violated whenever their mistress asks for a raise. This year, Robert Downey Jr. said he'll sue any future executive who tries to make an AI replica out of him. I mean, the dude overcame a very rough path to become one of the biggest stars in the world, and the studios are like, so do you mind if we deepfake your face and voice into oblivion for a quick buck? I mean, that's like your boss firing you and then asking if you could borrow your mouth for customer service calls. 2024 saw Stephen King leave X, calling it too toxic, which is impressive because this man wrote Cujo, Misery, and Carrie, where the main character unleashes telekinetic terror to her classmates. And somehow that's less toxic than Twitter. Microsoft CEO got a 63% pay bump, earning $73 million, while 2,550 employees got laid off. I love how companies claim we're tightening our belts right before they give the CEO a pay rise that could fund the entire season of The Bachelor. Maybe they figure if they throw enough money at him, he can buy a personality trait that cares about people. What would you do with $73 million a year anyway? Probably buy enough Ferraris to park inside his other Ferraris. Well, over 2,000 people got the blue screen of unemployment. A 2024 report said that billionaires create more carbon pollution in 90 minutes than the average person does in a lifetime, which is shocking, because I assumed they were only toxic on social media. Between the private jets, mega yachts, and space tourism, it's like they're kids in a candy store, if the candy store also happens to be on fire. Data shows that middle-aged Republican women in Arizona, Florida, and Texas spread 80% of the fake news in 2020, which again is also shocking, because I figured that statistic would be for men in the same states. The guys who think that the vaccine is a CIA mind control device. But hey, it's 2024. Ladies can hold their own in anything, even propaganda. The first human Neuralink patient says that Elon Musk promised him no monkey had died because of the implant, although a bunch of them had definitely died. That's like booking a cruise with the Titanic's captain and hearing, trust me, the ship has never hit an iceberg, except that one time, and those 22 other times. So you're about to get Neuralink and you say, wait, didn't a bunch of monkeys die? And Elon's like, no, that was just from natural causes, like these 700 volts we pumped into their brains. Completely natural. We won't really get any answers. The monkey's family signed their NDAs. This year, Peloton announced that they would charge a $95 fee to activate used equipment. Peloton, the company that turned an overpriced stationary bike with an iPad into a status symbol. Well, that company is now telling you, no, we only get to profit off your shame when you eventually stop using this thing to hang your laundry. It doesn't apply to refurbished models brought directly from the company. They are only punishing the poor people. It was a bad year for Ben Shapiro, who lost fans after he criticized people for celebrating Brian Thompson's death. That's the CEO of the health company. But Ben's entire shtick is a rapid-fire rant delivered by a guy whose eyebrows look like two angry caterpillars fighting. His fans are angry because he is not cool with them dancing on someone's grave. I guess when your entire business model is let's get normal people to hate each other for clicks, you can't really suddenly start preaching morality. His fans realized that he would just say anything to get people worked up, and they turned on him faster than he can say, facts don't care about your feelings. His eyebrows, though, if they get any thicker, they're gonna unionize and demand their own talk show. And we'll finish where we normally do with Pornhub. Hey, that's not a bad slogan, is it? Pornhub, where the internet finishes. Okay, final one. More and more US states lost access to Pornhub this year. Andrew Tate says he's completely not bothered by this because Pornhub assures everyone that their models are legal and over 18. Okay, I look forward to your comments. I have been your Tech Jester Buzzstringer. Thank you, have a wonderful Christmas and a fantastic New Year. Stay sexy. Which hand am I doing this with? This one. Stay sexy and be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next year.